I did a humiliation ritual and I passed. This is the title of a video that NLE Choppa posted to Instagram. NLE Choppa is a very famous rapper, and some say 2024 was his breakout year. And in this video, he explains what happened to him in 2024, all of the trials, all of the tribulations, all of the stuff he had to do, all of the backlash he got. And he said it was some of the worst times in his life where he almost took his own life. I respect his vulnerability and I'm not here to judge, but there's a couple things that he said that really had me questioning some things, and we're going to talk about him in this video. So this is how he starts off his video.
I passed my humiliation ritual with all honors, with flying colors. But the only difference between my humiliation ritual and a lot of others is I was walking with God the whole time. Being deeply rooted in prayer, deeply in search of answers, and deeply rooted and grounded in the palms of his hands through the process of this whole humiliation ritual. This video today is a serious one. I've done this video.
First of all, I already have questions. Humiliation ritual, but he was with God the whole time. Now, that's incredible. That's a great thing to say, but I feel like humiliation rituals are rituals that usually you choose to do. And that's what I thought at first. So I was kind of thinking this doesn't add up, because if you chose to do a humiliation ritual to break out in the music industry, well, I feel like this is a lukewarm type of intro, you know? I did a humiliation ritual, but I was with God the whole time. I feel like it's one or the other. This video is basically two different parts. The first part of this video, he talks about the first half of his 2024 and how it was so hard because he lost a lot of family members. And the second part is the real humiliation ritual, and we're going to get into that, but let's just listen to what he says first.
My point of this video is to show vulnerability, be open and honest with my fans, and to help inspire my fans and those who stumble across this video to learn how to handle their breakthrough. So I just want to take a few people back to how my 2024 started. My year, January 1st, was a rough one. It's December 31st of 2023. I lost a close friend of mine to gun violence coming into the new year. Shot 7 times, left cold, left dead, unresponsive. Don't want to get into too much detail about that, but the way he died was just gruesome and snake driven. Fast forward from that a few days into January, I lost my grandfather. This is like not even like a week after, I believe. I think it's like a few days afterwards. I can't remember the exact date, but it was like a few days. My grandfather died. And like when I say grandfather, I mean like my big man. Like I used to sit on this man's lap, like sit on his lap and just watch TV with him, like in the space of really being a kid. He holds a big sum of my childhood and even adulthood. A few days after that, I lost another relative to alcohol abuse. A few days after that, my mother and us lost someone to suicide. So this is my January. This is the intro to my 2024. It pushed me in a space of purpose and evolution to evolve as a person. Sat front row at Deontay's Fletcher funeral. Rest in peace, Tay Great. My close friend who was shot 7 times. Sat front row beside his mother at the funeral. And if my fans know, I released City Lights, where I sampled Bobby Billion's Mo 3. They scared to come outside. Shot it at his funeral. So it captured the emotion of that day. But the things that it didn't capture was the realness and the rawness and the inner voice I was hearing. I sat front row and God just started to talk to me. It was like, how many more of these funerals you have to attend off the strength of gun violence before you just kind of become a small bit like prejudiced towards the art of drill and murder music. And at this moment, I'm seeing this shift happen. I'm seeing the reset button happen because God is disappointed with our leaders and he's looking for new ones. So this is my humiliation ritual. And I'm gonna keep bringing up humiliation ritual to explain what I mean. I left out of that funeral that day saying, you know what, man? Even with me shooting the City Lights video, I was kind of out of it. This is a cycle that'll never end. You kill us, we kill y'all. You kill it. It just goes back and forth. I'm like, man, how do you get out the cycle? So boom, fast forward, I go away. Leading into the Shot of Flow 7 remix, I ended up dissing Blueface.
Basically, he's saying he had a lot of family members and a friend that passed away, and this made him angry. And he thought it was a wake up call to get out of murder music, to get out of this kind of drill music. And then he continued to make a diss track, and he felt like this wasn't him either. He is still angry inside. Maybe this is a wake up call.
Fast forward April to about April, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of the vibration, the energy that rap just carries. As you see our kings, our bosses, our role models, our idols, they're falling, they're collapsing, they're fighting, they are at war simply because people are too greed, people have too much lust, people can't battle temptation. And all of these things over time creates a sour individual.
He's
So
talking about himself.
I've been deeply in process with addressing my inner problems. But the whole time I was going through it, I kept it hidden from y'all. I was not vulnerable. I was not direct. I made Slut Me Out too, which was not a record more so about having sex, or, you know, you can't even really have sex to the record if we being honest. It's just a feel good record. But when I made the record, I had fun and I felt so confident. And that was the two main things that God brought light to once I made the music. Not that I was not like, oh, I'm gonna punish you, you talking about having sex, eating butt, this and doing that. The question was, how did I feel making it? I felt good. I felt confident. I felt strong. I felt more confident, strong, and I had more fun making that song than I was to make a song out of rage and anger. But don't misconstrue the songs that I made out of rage and anger, because it helped me release it, right?
So, for context, he's saying he felt good because he made this song. Just take a look at the lyrics. Absolutely disgusting. He said he felt good and he got confidence better than making the murder music. And he said he felt like that was from God. I don't know. I mean, this is an absolute wild song to say it was from God. But, people go through different things. Like I said, I'm not here to judge. I just want to let you know that this is the song he's talking
It
about.
was kind of rocky. Then from April to July, it was intense. I was going through things personally. It felt like my life was collapsing, but my career was thriving. It felt like my personal life was hell, but I was receiving breakthrough, career rise, and it was by inch by inch by inch.
All right, so let me explain so far what's going on because I know it's kind of slow, it's a little bit boring, and let's just get to what's going on here. So, NLE Choppa, he's saying in 2024 it was a horrible year. He had a lot of deaths, and then he wanted to get out of the murder music, to get out of just rapping about death and violence. It was just depressing him and it was steering him in the wrong direction. So he turns the switch. He goes to this loving NLE Choppa, loving and himself a lot, and I showed you the lyrics. He was talking about the song called Slut Me Out, basically saying, if I was a girl, I would want to do all these sexual things to me. And he goes into very deep, sexual descriptions. And then he tweets this picture, and he says, I'm coming out. And it's a picture of him, making this pose, and he got a mass amount of backlash, and everyone started questioning his sexuality. And this is where the real humiliation ritual started because everyone said, yo, this guy went from murder music to saying he wants to do stuff to his own self. Sorry, that was a car outside. And then he posts this. So they're saying, this guy, he's not straight anymore. And he said he got a lot of backlash and he said it was the worst time of his life because of, he couldn't go out in public without getting called names, and he's about to explain all the names right now in the clip we're going to go back and watch. But this is basically the story here.
And fruitful, and I got humiliated for it. I got humiliated deeply for it. I was called gay. I was called, you know what? Let's be honest. I was called a faggot. I got the F bomb dropped on me hard. I was called a faggot. I was called gay. I was called Diddy Jr. I was called weird. I was called freaky. I was called a bitch. I was disrespected. Let's just say that. And you know what I'm saying? I'm smiling now. I'm good now. I'm not gonna spiral off. Come into August with a fearless approach. First quarter of the year, I tried to rest in peace, my rage and my anger. Midway there in the summer, I became more confident, more loving, had more fun, showed love to the gay community. No rappers doing that. I wanted to live out of love so deeply to where everything I did was resemblant of love. Rather you're a racist, if you walk a different life to me, I wanted to say I don't judge you, I love you, and I still appreciate you. Because I am no man to judge what you do. My job is to live out of love and salute to whatever you got going on, because I know that the battle is rough. My job is to be a testimony to the people that don't walk with God, because that's the only way that I'm thriving, and that's the only way that I'm able to gain strength every day is through my prayers and through my trust and through my faith. I was crucified. I was humiliated from January to July deeply. It hurt. It hurted a lot. In August, I was probably crucified the most. It was like the nail in the coffin of crucifixion, of humiliation. I said, I'm coming out. I said, I'm coming out of fearlessness.
This is
I'm
what we're
coming
talking
out
about.
meant so many things to me. I love women. I'm very intimate with women. When it comes to intimacy, I don't bring men to my bedroom. I don't allow anything to happen that brings me out of the love I have for women, most importantly, black women, when it comes to intimacy. The I'm coming out comment was me coming out with a song. But spiritually, it was me coming out of my shell, out of my cocoon, and blossoming into the butterfly that God has been molding since I had my first spiritual awakening 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I mean.
All right. So this coming out picture meant I'm coming out in fearlessness. I'm coming out of my cocoon. I'm coming out to show love. Come on. I mean, I can't say. Here's the deal. This just looks like clickbait to me. I'm just going to be honest. That's my own opinion. How is he going to connect this with spirituality when I got to word things carefully here, but I think you guys know what I mean. And he basically is saying the humiliation ritual happened because he opened up his music to the gay and LGBTQ community. And he said this, and that sparked up another flame in them. And, that led to his breakout year. He got a whole nother community listening to his music rather than just him making the murder music he previously was and the drill music. So, him going through his humiliation ritual is basically doing all of this kind of symbolism. So I don't know if you guys are following on here, but to me, it seems like he's just trying to make it a spiritual thing and a God thing. And maybe it is, but in a lot of other people's eyes, they're seeing that he's just opening the door to the gay community and that's his humiliation ritual. That's what got him there. But he's saying, no, I just wanted to love people because that's what God wants us to do. So this is very it's a very controversial subject here, and there's a lot of questions to be asked for sure.
Said, I'm coming out. Posted it. Boom. Broke the internet. I was closer to God than I ever was in my life. Still is. I am now. That happened, and I'm having a lot of success with, or what? A lot of success with SMO2, SMO3, and all of these songs was made spiritually for confidence, spiritually for fun, spiritually for happiness and smile.
He's saying "Slut Me Out" the song was made out of spirituality. Okay, come on, you can't. I don't think this is right. To be honest with you, and if he's talking about Jesus, this isn't right. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I don't know if he mentions the name Jesus in this 50-minute video, but if he's talking about SMO 2 and 3, and that's the songs he's talking about. So that's where I raise my questions. I know it took me a long time to get to this, but no. No. Let me know what you guys think about that, cuz yeah.
House, glitters, glam, glow, gold. I was getting on TikTok every day. I'm making TikTok. I get on my phone. I'm really like deeply rooted in like anger though, because I felt confused and I felt lost some days. Because God seen me during my darkness. And he seen everything I did. He saw my intent. And he is rewarding me for being a true champion trailblazer and passing his humiliation ritual, which was one of the hardest tests he's given me. I never took an ACT test, but the test he gave me is not a word, it's not even a sentence that can explain how hard God makes it for you just to reveal the gems on the inside. And the most beautiful part,
I believe that God puts things in our life to pass them so we get stronger and we can help other people to get through these situations, maybe like kind of a messenger for them. But this man is calling it a humiliation ritual, and he said he's doing it with songs that say these kinds of things. And yeah, he moved on from murder music instead of talking about violence, but now you're talking about this kind of stuff. I think it's a slippery slope. I think that's all I'm saying. Look, maybe it's a seed planted in this man, and he's very popular. This guy's reaching millions of people with his music. Maybe it's a seed planted for the future. Let's hope for the best here with what he's saying. And like I said, we're not judging here, but when you're talking about God and you're talking about something like this is not a game. This is not a game, and it doesn't look like he's playing a game. Maybe he genuinely means it, and I hope so. But lots of questions to be asked. I know I keep saying that, but just the truth.
and the most beautiful part about God is that he restores what you feel that you lost, what you feel that you did not get, what
Amen.
you feel that you was.
And he has a lot of good points in this long video. We haven't watched the whole thing, but he does make a lot of great points about God. But I feel like he gets contradicted a lot.
Absent from what you feel that you're missing out on is all his protection. It's all part of his plan. It's all a part of it. So here we are in September. And September's closing in. God has gave me a fresh slate.
And you know what? I've never received the type of backlash he did when he posted that picture. And, God probably did get him through that because that's really depressing and scary stuff, especially for a man with his platform. So, yeah, 100%. 100%.
To paint. He's giving me more clarity to paint. He's giving me more guidance to paint. And he's also restored everything that I felt that I lost and gave it times 10 to paint. And where do we go from here? Well,
Also, in the last like 8 minutes, his voice completely changes. Listen to this.
that's that guy.
This too.
y'all will be seeing more of him as well. Also, before I head out with all of what
What?
I've said, I've come to great realization that creatively, it's not meant for me to create down a one-way street. I can only be versatile when I create simply because my emotions and my feelings.
Anyway, I know there was a lot. I probably should have trimmed out a lot of the stuff he said because it's a 50-minute video and we didn't even watch half of it. You can go watch the full video on your own time. It is very slow, but his humiliation ritual is basically him opening up his music to the whole world. And he did the whole coming out picture. And to me, I thought it was a little clickbaity, but I don't know what his true intentions were. He said he was just coming out spiritually and he wanted to show love to everyone. So it is what it is. He had a breakout year in 2024 because of all of that stuff. And I don't know, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Uh, throwing the word God around like that is very controversial. So it is what it is. But let me know your guys' thoughts.